This is Gregory Porter, and you are watching Music News.
Gregory Porter, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Twice Grammy nominated, a tremendous voice, critically acclaimed new album, and you managed to lead the Freeze in USA to come back to the UK, which is relatively warm. Life good right now?
Life is good right now, yeah.
Yeah. Your voice seems to be made up of elements of jazz, soul, R&B, blues. If it was a recipe, what sort of percentage would you attribute to each particular area?
Well, that's interesting, yeah. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. I would say 50% of the basis of what I'm doing is based in jazz. And, you know, I need some more percentages. Let's see, 25%, okay, soul and gospel. 19%, no. No. You speak about that, but there's even sometimes where there's even a southern country western can creep into my music as well, and that actually is coming from the gospel elements. But I would say I'm a healthy dose of jazz, but I am you know, using some strong elements of you know, soul and R&B and gospel music for sure.
Your music sits perfectly in that precarious position found between artistic integrity and mainstream commercialism. Is that something that sort of comes naturally?
That must come naturally, because I'm not really thinking of you know, I hope thinking of something being commercially successful in its simplicity. I think what I'm trying to do is write something that's unencumbered by whatever genre they want to say that I am. What I'm trying to do is just have clarity of message. I think Miles Davis was a genius of that. You know, really. I mean, he could do and play anything, but sometimes just these, you know, these really simple, thoughtful notes, you know, gave the clarity of the idea. I'm not putting myself in the category of a Miles Davis at all, but what I am saying is that there is no negativity in simplicity. I mean, that's one of the major devices of music. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The latest album, Liquid Spirit, has varying styles incorporated in it: ballads, mid-tempo, hard bop, drivers. Where are you most comfortable?
Mm-hmm. I can almost say I grew up thinking that I was, and feeling that I was a ballad singer, and I still feel that way. But I mean, I really love it all. I mean, I love to, you know, swing, and you know, the threat of losing time and tempo and losing your place in the music is exciting when you're doing a fast up-tempo song, and that's jazz. But I do love to close my eyes and climb into a nice ballad and just, you know, really explore the colors that can be developed in a ballad. Yeah.
How would you sum up the album Liquid Spirit itself?
I think it's like my other two records are. They're I think it's a balance of like humanity. It's like you know, of love and protest in a way. I think sometimes people can't hear the protest in some of your, you know, the writing. They miss the metaphors. Liquid Spirit is you know, I love that it's embraced by the music industry, but it's a commentary on the music industry. Unreroute the river, let the damned water be. There's some people down the way that's thirsty, so let the liquid spirit free. It's about letting the music hit the people in the way that the music wants to organically hit the people, like water. Not diverting it to the demographic that we believe that this music is for. Let the music flow and see what happens. And when it kind of gets out there, I think, I've been to some, concerts in Germany where the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh row is all really young people. And behind them may be their parents. Behind them may be some older people. I dig that. I really dig that. And that's what the song is saying. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You seem to encapsulate a joyous sentimentality in your music that sort of breaks down the listener and renders them happily defenceless to your advances. What music breaks you down, personally?
Honesty. The interesting thing that you're talking about is something I explore in myself and something I explore in my music, and that's masculine vulnerability. In the song "Be Good" from my last record, and from the song "Hey Laura" or "Water Under Bridges" on this new record, I'm dealing with a person who's like may consider themselves strong, and they're coming from a strong position, but there's some injury to the heart, and that's what I'm doing. I'm expressing injury to a strong heart. I mean, she said lions are made for cages just to look at and delight. You dare not let them walk around because they might just bite. Well, you're still a lion. You've been hurt. She danced around your cage and pulled your tail and caused you pain, but you're still a lion.
Yeah.
So there's the vulnerability of the strong is something that I explore in the music, and I think that comes from an honest place. And so the music that breaks me down is music that deals with honest emotion, honest vulnerability, real life emotion.
What's Gregory Porter like in the real world then?
Yeah, I'm pretty much I'm very happy. I think I'm fair. Interviews, my music, and how I am when I walk the streets is who I am. I mean, that's who you are.
Yeah.
I evaluate myself even when I get into a situation where there may be abuse of a person or some injustice or somebody needs help, and I watch who I am as a person who I don't want to say I come to the rescue, but I spring into action. The teaching of my mother kind of springs into action, and I really do believe in fairness and in equality, and I'm a person who's always trying to defend the least one. I was like that in elementary school. I remember this girl who was I don't know what affliction she suffered. But she wore metal braces on her legs and walked with crutches. And I just, sometimes cruelest people on the face of the earth can be children. And I remember them just kicking the ball off of her legs, kicking a soccer ball, football off of her legs. And they thought that was so cool that the ball was bouncing off of her metal legs. And I remember running all the way across the schoolyard to stop them from doing this. They were laughing, having a great time. And in my mind, I was like, what? At a very young age, what in them sees that as being funny? So I think I still have that those emotional mechanisms within me. And I think it comes out in the music. I think When Love Was King, the lyric, he lifted up the underneath and all of his wealth he did bequeath to those who toiled without a gain. That's the thought of, considering the working poor, people who work hard all the time, but they're still poor. They can't survive in the economy, Of hungry children, first he'd think to pull their lives from the brink, That's me. That's my politics, beside him stood his mighty queen in equal force, wise and keen. You know, that's talking about, you know, gender equality. You know, so who I am, you know, as a person exists in the music, and yeah, that's who I am on my daily life.
Yeah.
If you listen to the music, if you listen to the record, that's who I am. I mean, even if you say that 1960 What is a song that rages in his politically negative, the song is 1960 What, and I'm considering, yes, I'm considering our current history, and that, and, you know, issues of inequality still exist, but the song is actually a statement of where we are now. You know, Barack Obama is a black man and he's a president. That's an extraordinary statement anywhere in the world, unfortunately, but true. Fortunately and unfortunately, that it's, you know, it's rare in the developed world. But it's a conversation of where we are. This is where we were. This is where we are. I think I play to the negative. When I mean, if I say I write the song Brown Grass, which seems like a breakup song. I'm not in a breakup right now, but I write that song in the idea of like, oh, that's what it would be like if.
Sure.
You understand?
Mm.
So yeah, I said what I wanted to say. More wine, please.
I mean, you started off by training as a sportsman. After you tore your shoulder, you know, theatre, then music backing.
Uh-huh.
Do you think you would have made it as a sportsman?
I was big and still am big. I was bigger in other places, but I was big and fast. And you know, every college player likes to believe that they can make it to professional football and make $1 billion. But I know it's rare and it's difficult to become a professional athlete. I don't know, but I do know I was supposed to hurt my shoulder. I was supposed to meet the people I met, the circle of friends that I was supposed to meet. I was supposed to have a long incubation period in terms of finding my voice and finding my writing ability. That's probably what's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to be right here, right now. And so, no. I broke my shoulder for a reason. There you go.
You would have been in with a shout. But I mean, you were spotted in a jazz club in Harlem. Do you still get back there? Sort of play the same venues or similar bands?
Well, the place I started to sing at was in Harlem. It's now closed, so unfortunately I can't visit that place anymore. But there's others like it. No, man, I'm on the road. You know, in the UK, y'all keep me on the road, man. So, no, I've when I'm in New York, my gigs haven't been prevalent in Harlem in the small clubs, but I still go. I still have friends that have gigs, and I'll come in and I'll sit in, and yeah, it's you know, small intimate rooms, you know, for the expression of music is still something that's very appealing to me.
Right. You were the artist in residence at Cheltenham Jazz Festival last year. Did you enjoy the experience?
I did. That was a blast, and because I got to wear so many different hats. I was doing interviews. I was giving interviews. I was mediating a panel. I was introducing artists, and I even curated and chose some of the films that were shown at the festival. It was as well as communicating with all the different artists that are at the festival as well. And that was just a very cool experience from Jamie Cullum to Laura Mvula to Van Morrison. I did a couple of gigs and I did a master class, and I was like, who is this man sitting in the back of every one of these performances dressed in black with a black hat. And, after the second time, somebody told me it was Van Morrison. He was like checking me out. And, so I had an amazing time at the Cheltenham Jazz Festival. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah,
Food is great. Everybody's there. You create this little village, this little festive musical village, and that's what the festivals are.
Yeah.
And so it was great. It was fun to be a part of that.
I've heard you, read and heard you talk about your mother, who was a minister on many occasions. Unfortunately, she's passed on with cancer. But what's the most important thing that she taught you, really?
It's a simple thing. I mean, there's a plethora of things that she taught me that I find instrumental, and I pull out at the appropriate time. But musically, she said something when I was a little boy, and I remember I remember her shaping my body in the way that she thought I should sing. She said, hold your arms out, straighten your arms, don't fiddle with your hands and your fingers, hold your head up high and stick your chest out, and sing with an understanding.
What sort of age was this?
I was 5. She said, sing with an understanding. Sing with an understanding. And that was the important thing. She would reiterate that over and over again, for the time that we had each other. Sing with an understanding. And that's just a simple thing, but it's a very deep and profound thing. Close your eyes, open your eyes, whatever it is, your meditation. But she was basically saying, climb into the song and really understand the things that are coming out of your mouth. And that prevents me from singing like completely stupid things, I think, because I want it to kind of go through me and feel good when it comes through me. And like, all music has its place and its time. But, there's some stuff out there that I don't want to sing. Yeah, and sing with an understanding. I mean, not sing with a governor and with a snobbery or not that at all, but just think about what you're saying, and hopefully, for the most part, it'll be something that'll elevate people and not bring them down.
Great. Where does your look come from, in particular the jazz hat?
Yeah.
You're very smart too.
Thank you, man. It's my style, man. I've just, just with anybody, I mean, you could pull any artist. This is an interesting thing. It's like generally when you're someplace being interviewed and asked about your style and the way that you are, an artist is probably supposed to be a little bit unusual. Supposed to, that you're thinking different. You're probably supposed to be a little different, and it's my style. It's my thing. I picked it up several years ago, and I've been rocking it ever since. And I'm recognized, like this with my British Kangol turned up at the bill, and from Istanbul to Siberia. So there you go. That's just me.
Fantastic.
Now the interesting thing about dress and style is like people, I remember one time it was a funny thing to me. I got voted a style icon of either the month or something, not the year, but the week or the month. I can't remember. And the picture they put up was, half of it was thrift store finds. So style is not about, how much money did you spend?
Yeah.
Somebody complimented my tie today, but this was $3 at the thrift store in New York, but I love it. So where can I get that tie? You can't. You'd have to go back to 1974 and find it. Yeah.
No, great. What does 2014 hold for Gregory Porter?
More musical expression, more people watching. That's the biggest inspiration. How I write. More searching the corners of my brain and my heart in writing. Collaborations with other singers.
Who are we talking?
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I mean, but it happens periodically with me. The Stefan Belmondo, David Murray. I did a recording with Diane Reeves and Van Morrison recently, and so So, musical collaborations with wherever they come from, and still working this music. It's a thing that I think about when I think of music and I think of songs. When I think of the Book of Standards, people will say, well, that music is tired, but that's not true, because there's brand new ears that are born every day. There's brand new ears that are developing every day. There's a 17-year-old that didn't think that he liked jazz until he heard something or somebody who expressed it the way that he could understand. And so there's new ears, new brains opening up to the music. So the music is not tired, and it in the truest sense, the music is supposed to be interpreted in different ways for every generation. And so I hope to be one of those people who interprets the Book of Standards in a different way that is acceptable to my generation. And I hope to write some music that is maybe, this is a very ambitious thing that I'm about to say, but write some music that'll be the new Book of Standards. I don't know if I'm doing that. But if half of one of my songs does that, I'll be very happy.
Fantastic. I mean, thanks a lot for your time. What 3 songs would you say, for someone who hasn't quite got into Gregory Porter, would you say, right, these 3 sum me up as an artist?
Liquid Spirit, Be Good, and 1960 What?
Fantastic.
Yeah, she could have gave me 5, man. Come on.
Anything else to say to Music News watchers?
Music news. What's happening, y'all? I've enjoyed this interview that we did today, and bottoms up.
Would you do us the great honour of giving us a couple of lines of new single, Liquid Spirit?
Unreroute the river and let that damn water be. There's some people around the way that is thirsty, so let the liquid spirit free. Clap your hands now. Come on, clap your hands now. Come on, clap your hands now.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for your
Yeah,
time.
man.
Been an absolute pleasure. Cheers.
Cool.